So we are in the second chapter of the Geeta, and we have seen that how Arjuna got completely deluded by his attachments and he was not ready to fight. He finally accepted that he is attached to Bhishma and Drona and he surrendered to Shri Krishna. And we also saw that Shri Krishna started with the highest advice to him, the 11th verse of the second chapter, where we saw he said, Ashochanam Vasochastvam. You are grieving for those who don't deserve to be grieved. And yet, as though you speak the words of the wise, Prajnavadamscha Bhashasi, Gatasun Agatasuncha. For those who are living and for those who are dead, the wise never grieve. Na anushocanti pandita. So in that context we saw that self-knowledge is what Bhagavan spoke about there. That from different standpoints that verse we saw that even from the transactional standpoint the Kauravas are those who don't deserve to be grieved for because they have done all atrocities on the Pandavas. And being Kshatriyas it is their dharma to protect. So why are you grieving for them? And from the standpoint of immortality of the soul also, the soul does not perish. The wise man knows that. And so one doesn't grieve. Now comes the 12th verse where he speaks from the standpoint of the individuality, the jiva. And 12th verse is that where the fact of reincarnation is suggested by Bhagavan. So let us read that. Natve vaham jatu nasam Natvam neme janadhipaha Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha Sarve vayamatah param Simple verse. He says, Natve vaham jatu nasam. It is not that you and I were not there in the past. Natvam na ime janadipaha. Nor you and these kings and all these people who are assembled to fight. It is not that in the past they did not exist. And it is not that after this war, nachaiva na bhavishyamaha. It is not that after this war they will not remain. Sarve vayam atapparam. After this war, it is not that they will cease to exist. Meaning, they were existing in the past, they are there presently, and they will continue to exist in the future. This is one verse. There are many other verses. But directly, reincarnation is indicated in this verse. That, O Arjuna, don't think that by killing them, you are finishing them totally. Don't ever think that they will not continue to exist and you will be the cause of their annihilation. They have been existing before, they will continue to exist. So the continuity of life in terms of reincarnation is what is indicated. One of the pillars of Hindu Dharma is Punarjanma and Avatarvada. So Punarjanma means reincarnation. So the jiva continues to take birth after birth after birth because of its own karma. This entire concept of Punarjanma is based on karma. And what is karma? Karma is cause and effect. Scientific law, cause and effect is karma. Because if there is an effect, there has to be a cause. One cannot say that there is effect without a cause. Just because I don't know the cause. One cannot say that there is, the effect is there, but there is no cause. It just came into existence. No. There was once a simple incident had happened in Siddhabari, near Himachal Pradesh, where Gurudev Samadhi is there, Swami Chidanananda Samadhi. That place he loved very much, and a beautiful ashram there, and many camps he has done there. So in one of the camps, there was an informal satsang where after the afternoon class, Gurudev would sit out and then people would sit around him and ask him some questions. So one person pointed out to another lady who was quite well-being. And so she pointed out to her and said, Swamiji, she just does not eat at all. And she is just putting on so much of weight. She just does not eat. So Gurudev said, so you mean to say she is an effect without a cause? You may not know when she is eating, but she must definitely be eating. How is it that she can just keep on putting on weight? So there has to be a cause, then only there can be an effect. So the idea of the whole concept of reincarnation is that my present life is not an isolated life without a continuum. It is not that past is not there and future is not there, only one life. So this concept of reincarnation is very important for us to understand. So I am going to take some time today and let us examine this, that why it is important to know about reincarnation. When we say Geeta in practice, our entire vision of life changes when I know that there is a continuity and that there is no escape. It is not that there is one life alone is. So let's start, we'll see how it. These are a few questions. That does life end with the end of the body? Is there life after death? What exactly happens after death? Is death the end of everything? Why do innocent children have to die? Is reincarnation a fact or just a cooked up theory? Answers of all these depend on how I view myself. So that most important question, who am I? Why do the answers of reincarnation depend on who am I? Think.
If you connect yourself with the body, then it may die. But if you connect with yourself, higher self, then you have to reincarnate.
Right. That's the point. If I look at myself only as the body, then finished. With the death of the body, I die. But if I look at myself as the individuality which takes new bodies, then there is reincarnation. So what I look at myself is very important. So first we take the physical view, which is the most common one. So if I look at myself only as a body, then I will deny the existence of a soul. There is no soul, there is no higher reality, there is only this body made up of 5 elements, because I can see. I can see, hear, taste, smell, touch, it is visible, tangible, gross. And body alone is the real. If body alone is real, then this is the one birth theory, that this is only one birth that we have. There is no birth before this, there is no birth after this. First, this is the thing. So this is the only one life theory, and lots of people believe in this one life theory. So the view is that it came from nothing and it goes nowhere. So the moment we think like that it came from nothing and goes nowhere, then what happens to us? The whole purpose of morality, living ethical life, having control of my karma, doing good karma, all that is, there's no need. Because who has seen? Typical question that people ask is, who has seen what happens after death? There is no guarantee that there is life after death. So birth and death is nothing but result of integration and disintegration of matter. 5 elements come together in some combination, so I am born. And when I die, this body disintegrates into 5 elements. Over. So whole life is nothing but relationship of matter with matter. That's all. And what happens with that is, I don't have to act responsibly because I am not accountable to anything. I can do anything and I can get away. So uncontrolled physical indulgence, immoral conduct, emotional violence, intellectual directionlessness, and complete annihilation at the moment of death. Nothing remains. So the purpose of life only is worthless. Somehow I came into existence for no reason. I live for no reason. And I die leaving nothing behind. This is one birth theory. Now why do we say that this is not acceptable? Why can't this be true? Let it be. So that we have freedom to do whatever we want.
Doesn't make sense. That's why it's
That way a lot of things don't make sense. That I am Sachidananda doesn't make sense at all. But there's some other reason. It doesn't make sense, ultimately it will come to that only. But how we came to that?
We saw so many people suffering, ugly day, all that answer he doesn't get if you believe.
Yeah, why so much of suffering, why so much of diversity? We don't get the answer. But the people who believe in one birth theory, they say, yeah, that it just happened.
This is matter.
Yeah. Very strong argument is this with the one word theory. The other day, just last week, we had a camp called Karma Tricks. 75 youngsters were there. Very nice camp we had. Based on karma, we saw 6 laws of karma and karma yoga and all that. And one debate we had on life after death. Is there life after death? So for and against. No, surprising was that there was nobody who was against. Everybody was for life after death. But then debate has to happen. So then some of them chose to speak against. And one of the points that they brought up was that this theory of rebirth or reincarnation is cooked up by the scholars and pandits because they have to survive. For their livelihood, they have cooked it up. It is not a fact. So many people say like that this is not a fact. There is only one life. There is no life after this, no life before this. There is no heaven, hell, no higher worlds, no lower worlds, no coming back, nothing. So simple, no? It is only one life. But see why we refute it. Something cannot come out of nothing. Simple point. There cannot be an effect without a cause. Second, matter cannot produce intelligence. That is the most important point. Brain is a product of matter, gross matter, combination of 5 elements. But mind is not a product of combination of 5 gross elements. Intelligence in that is not a product of combination of 5 elements. How did that come? It is not that space, air, fire, water, earth in a certain combination produces intelligence. No. Intelligence is something else. Even the capacity for the mind to think, because the combination of 5 elements remains the same, no, in the dead body also. How is it that that person who is alive is able to think so intelligently? So matter did not produce sentiency. Life was not produced by matter. That has its own independent existence. That life associating with matter, now this matter becomes irrelevant, and then there is senses which can act with the world and see, hear, taste, smell, touch, all that happens. So one reason is this, that the thinker is not a product of mere brain cells. Brain cells are there even in a person who has coma. Why is a person not able to function? You may say, no, but the brain dead. The brain is not functioning properly. But that person who is in coma comes back, no? Sometimes. Then what happened? It is not that just the brain got reactivated so that the person came back. There is a mind which is there, which is intelligence. How did it associate back? So that is one way to refute this. There is a cause and entity which is different and subtler than the body, which has the power to create and control this body. That cause is very important. The body is only the effect. And looking at the effect, if I say that there is no such cause, the effect came into existence on its own, that is illogical. If effect came into existence on its own, why is it that we all are so different? Because it is a product of chance. If we believe it is a product of chance, then there is no logic for anything. You sow a mango seed, mango will not come out. You have to wait and watch what is going to come out. Because anything will come out. There is no logic of cause and effect there. So if this whole world, if we see, it works only on the law of cause and effect. Interesting it is, if you examine this phenomenon. Science denies the existence of a higher reality in some places. Why? Because everything is functioning so smoothly and they can go from the effect to the cause. But the very reason that they can go from the effect to the cause means that there is a higher intelligence because of which this is functioning. How it happens on its own. So the idea is that one birth theory doesn't hold ground. This is the thing, the law of cause and effect. The effect cannot be without a cause. So what is the cause of this body? When we analyze this cause and effect, the cause is nothing but the unmanifest state of the effect. And effect is the manifest state of the cause. So example here is the seed is the unmanifest state. And from that seed slowly the tree grows. Tree becomes the effect. So the tree is the effect which is the manifest state of the very same cause which is the seed. So suppose we say body is the tree, then what is the seed?
That's nice.
In Vedanta we know, but one by one we have to go behind. Ultimate seed we say is vasanas, correct. So the cause is always subtler than the effect, always. And so what is that in us which is subtler than this body, which controls this body, because of which the body goes through what it goes through? That is our thoughts. So that cause is in the body only. Just like the cause of the tree is in the seed. So that way, if we analyze, some people say it is the genes. It is because of the genes that we are what we are. Now, if it is because of genes we are what we are, then the question again comes, why only you got that particular gene mutation and why not your sibling? No, you said no, that is chromosome X and chromosome Y and any combination will happen. There are some, what is that? 24 and 24. I don't remember the number. And that 24 and 24, any combination is possible. So many combinations are possible in that. So one of the combinations I was born. But why you only got that? So the medical science also has included the term karma now in their dictionary. Oxford Dictionary has the word karma. So one is that the cause appears to be the genes, but again genes is only the effect. Somebody may say heredity. Is heredity the cause? So many times you see the parents of such great achievers and child prodigies, they have no background in that. Mozart, I don't know whether Mozart's parents had any background in music, or Tendulkar's parents had any background in cricket. But why is he born to them? Is it a product of chance? If he is born to them, it is not that because of heredity he has cultivated all that. From childhood, at such a small age, at 5, if somebody is able to play, there has to be some continuity. If one does not believe in that continuity, what one thinks? That Bhagavan blessed that person. Then Bhagavan becomes partial. That he is blessing some people and he is cursing some people. That does not hold ground. So the cause These are not, no doubt, some of the causes, but the main cause is not all these. The point of heredity also proves that the soul chooses the parents. Parents don't produce the soul. So the child comes, Khalil Gibran says that in the Prophet. Children are not born to us, they are born through us. They have a certain tendencies to express which they have taken a body, and to exhaust some karmas, they have come together in this particular family. So one born through. Hence one has to accept that the cause is something much more deeper. The cause cannot be mind, just the genes or just the heredity. The cause has to be what we call as this. The seed is the wind, vasana, intellect and the mind. This VIM, wind, goes from one body to another body at the time of death. Only physical body we drop. Mind, which is seat of emotions, intellect, which is seat of thoughts, and vasanas, which are the cause of these thoughts and impressions. These VIM goes from one body into another body. So what happens at the time of death is only transfer of wind from one body into another. In English, that's why they have that saying, he kicked the bucket. That's an appropriate saying. He kicked the bucket means died. So bucket is like the body. And VIM is like that water. Now the water moves from one bucket into another bucket. Bucket is dropped. So that vasana, intellect and mind goes from one body to another, and that is why one continues from where one left. There is no escape from karma. That's the reason. Even if a person commits suicide, there is no escape from karma. Death can only do one thing. It can only reorganize your memory. That's all it can do. So all the experiences which I have in this life, the memory of mine gets so reorganized that I don't it is not in my conscious mind. It is pushed into subconscious, unconscious mind. And luckily it is so. So that I become fresh to experience the new life. But where I will be born, how I will be born, what conditions, what kind of karma I will do, all that is same, because the mind continues. And we always give a very popular example for that. It is like transferring the SIM card from one handset to another handset. Whatever is stored on the SIM card will continue. So just like SIM goes from one handset to another handset, WIM goes from one body to another body. That is what happens at the time of death. And hence we see that it is not merely the genes and heredity, but it is the mind and intellect which has all the peculiar traits, tendencies, thoughts, emotions. And the cause of this mind and intellect is our own impressions. If you remember last class, we had done that whole cycle, right? Desires, thoughts, actions, results, impressions. So the impressions are called vasanas. And these vasanas cause desire, thoughts, action, result. And that peculiar tendency which I have, that is called as the vasana, unique to me. Now this I carry forward. And this is what prompts me to desire, prompts me to act. This vasana, this is what we call as the jiva, the individual who carries forward the vasana, intellect and mind is the jiva. And so in Bhaja Govindam it is said, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatareshayanam. Again one is born, again one dies. This cycle goes on. As long as this vasana, intellect and mind is there, it will need a field to exhaust itself. It will continue. So as a subtle body I have existed before. So pre-existence of the soul is a continuity of life in the past, and when you extend it to the future, it proves reincarnation. So the seed of my present birth is the vasana, intellect and mind of my past. And this today what I do, it will create my future. So this simple law of cause and effect, and today this has been proved enough by regression therapy. And if somebody thinks that regression therapy is a modern invention, they are mistaken. This is there in our Shastra thousands of years ago. Bhishma Pitama on the bed of arrows, when he was lying down, he asked Bhagavan Krishna that what did I do to deserve this kind of a horrible treatment? Just imagine, arrows have gone through him and he is supported by the arrows. His whole body is supported by bed of arrows. One little pin somebody pokes to us, we are like, the whole arrow has gone through him and his whole body is like that. And he has the boon of Ichhamrityu. He will die only when he wants to die. So he waited for the war to get over and that Uttarayan to set in. So when the war got over, Krishna asked Yudhishthir that he is such a glorious person and the sun is going to set very soon in his life. So much of knowledge, experience is rich in that. Ask him about administration, politics and so many things. And in Shanti Parva of Mahabharata you will find this, that Yudhishthir asks Bhishma about how to rule. And if you want to know the Indian approach to management, it is there. Beautiful. The science of management, how to manage, how to rule, how to govern, what is politics, everything it is. Long, very long portion. He also tells him about what is the way to get out of this cycle of karma and bondage. And the whole Vishnu Sahasranam, which is so popular, is actually Bhishma narrating it to Yudhishthira. So, after all this is over, Bhishma asks Krishna that what is it because of which I am facing this karma? I have gone 70 lives behind and I have seen. I don't find any valid reason why I should suffer like this. And you are Ishvara, you only can tell me. So please tell me. So Bhagavan says you go back one more life. And in that life you will find the reason. So he goes back. And there he finds that he was a tribal boy and when he was taking bath, he came out of the river. There were some clothes on the shrubs which he wore, his own clothes which he had left there. And there he found one insect. So out of his just, what do you say? Not curiosity, masti, this child, he was tribal boy. So he broke one thorn and he poked that insect. So Bhagavan says 71 lives later, that insect which was Arjun has got back to you now. That is the law of karma, how it works. That the doer of the karma has to be the experiencer of the result. One cannot escape. So the regression therapy today has proved that. So many people, they do that, past life regression and all that. Nature has blocked us from knowing that memory of the past so much because it will interfere with our present. So there is no need actually to go into the past lives. But if you want to, then there is a proof. Regression therapy is the proof that I have existed in the past. It is not hallucination and imagination. It is a science, proper science. When you do it, you can actually travel back into the past. So if I view myself as the individuality, not just as a physical body, as an individuality, law of reincarnation actually is a law of remanifestation. My own vasanas, intellect and mind manifest again into another form, which is necessary, which is conducive to exhaust the new vasanas that I want to exhaust. So a person who understands this point very clearly, the impact of the reincarnation on personal life and on the society is tremendous. We will come to that when we come to the end of this presentation. So this is what explains the diversity in the world, that each one is what they are because of their own vasana, intellect and mind. It is not that they are just created like that or Bhagavan bless them specially, no. Each one is what they are because of their past karma, which means they have existed. So that one is logic, second is Shruti. In the Upanishads, it is said very clearly. Kathopanishad says that some souls enter the womb to have a body and others become plants according to their karma and according to their knowledge. Meaning, some remain into the human form, they come into the human form after the dropping of the body. And some enter into other yonis also. They can become plants, animals, whatever. So there is no guarantee that after a human birth, one will become only a human. It again depends only on the karma. So if I know my factors very clearly, that karma factor is a very powerful one. I take charge of my life, my actions. Because I have to face the consequences. Nobody else is there with me. One of the important reasons why Valmiki, how Ratnakar transformed into Valmiki is this. That he realized that my karma, there is nobody with me to face that result. When he went and asked his wife and children and his father that, will you share the sins that I have incurred by all that I have done? They said no. That is, the wife said that I have taken a vow only to share your happiness and sorrow, not your punya and papa. What you do to take care of us, you should choose the dharmic means. We did not tell you to choose the dharmic means. He gets shaken up there. And if you see that Hindu concept of in the marriage, is very strange. You know, the punya of the husband, half the punya of the husband wife takes. But the pap of the wife, wife will not take. So wife will share only the punya of the husband. But the pap of the wife, husband will take.
Why is that?
It is like that now. Bhagavan created. And we think that, Hindu scriptures are against women and, the women are not treated equally. Or women are given a higher status in the Hindu
So
scriptures.
he doesn't take the woman's punya.
He doesn't take woman's punya. He takes away only her papa. One of the smritis it is written. So the point is that Shruti quotes that there is existence of the soul, there is rebirth that will happen, and the karma of the past decides that. Again, the Mundaka Upanishad also says that according to your desire, you keep going to the appropriate worlds. Just like after we leave from here, each one will go where? To different places. According to what? Their own desire. Somebody will go to a movie, somebody will go to home, somebody will go somewhere, relative's place. Prompted by what? Prompted by one's own desire. Same way, when the body is dropped, prompted by the desire, one goes, different places one goes. Only the person who is desireless drops the body here, and there is no cause for the rebirth because the vasana is exhausted, no thoughts, no desires. Bas. That person is called liberated in life, Jivan Mukta. Except the Jivan Mukta, everybody takes rebirth. Whether you know it or you don't know it. Some people think law of karma applies only to Hindus. It is like thinking gravity applies only to the people who know about gravity. It doesn't work. It is a universal law. It applies to everybody whether you know it or you don't. And all the more important for us to know it and take charge of our lives. So that was Shruti. This is Yukti. That if you see the law of cause and effect, there has to be the cause and effect. Effect has to have a cause. These are three valid means of knowledge. Shruti, Yukti and Anubhuti. Direct experience is Anubhuti. Yukti is logic. Shruti is the statement of the scriptures. If something stands the test of these three, that means it is the truth. Now what is the Anubhuti? Experiential proof of rebirth. All this. Variety in life. So much of variety is all because of past karma. Memory of childhood. This is the next verse of the Gita. Verse number 13 of the second chapter. Let us read that and then we move ahead. Dehinosmin yatha dehe Kaumaram yauvanam jara Tatha dehantara praptihi Dhirastatra na muhyati. So he says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe. The body goes through the changes. Kaumaram, yauvanam, jara. As a child, then the teenager, then the youth, and the adult. The body goes through all the changes. The indweller, Dehi, that Dehi remains the same. The body is going through the changes, so the Dehi is aware of all these changes. Tatha dehantara prapti. Same way, when the body will drop, the Dehi continues. But in the next body. So dhiras tatrana muhyati. So the wise person does not get deluded. That, oh God, body destroyed, I got destroyed. No. It is like getting worried that my coat got burnt, so I got burnt. Coat has got burnt. I am the person who is different. So that example will come of changing of the old clothes. So the idea here is the memory. Now memory is something which is, the law of memory is very simple. That the experiencer only can be the person who remembers. I cannot remember your experience. I can only remember my experience. The person who is the experiencer only can be the person who can recall. So there are so many instances of children who have recollected the memory of their own past lives. Today Western world also accepts that. Enough and more books are there on this reincarnation and how so many cases have got documented of people who have had such experiences. Some such young children, they will suddenly say that, I am a 70-year-old person and this is my house and these are my children and this is where I used to live. And then they go and find out also. And they will find all this as a fact. So many such examples. So memory is one thing which can also prove. Because a person cannot just cook it up. How can you just hallucinate all that? Same thing, step by step it goes. So one is that memory. Second is the child prodigies. Again, children who die early, children who are born with deformities. Why all those things happen? It is not because of some random chance. Then there is regression therapy. And there is one more important experiential proof, and that is dreams. Some dreams which recur again and again and again, where some things you see which you have never experienced in this life. See, one can dismiss some of those as even mental projection. But when certain things repeat again and again and again, it means that some karma has been done which is a strong impression on the mind, which is again manifesting now. So there are these examples because of which one can understand that yes, reincarnation has to be a fact. It cannot be a myth. So this is what happens at the time of death, what we discussed. The vasana, intellect and mind moves from one body into another body. So it is merely dropping of the body. Because the body now is not required, whatever experiences it had to go through, it has gone through now, finished. Now to experience the new set of vasanas and karma, it may require a new body, so it drops. So many times when we see that small children dying, we may feel that, oh God, how tragic. And yes, it is tragic. But the reason why they die is because they came to exhaust a certain number of vasanas that got exhausted. That's it. Now they move on. Gurudev used to give this very nice example. He said that somebody who is a very, very rich, wealthy person may buy a BMW and may drive that BMW. And in 2 months' time, he may sell that BMW away and buy one big Rolls Royce. You may say, oh God, just 2 months? For 2 months he bought this? I mean, he bought it, he had that affluence. So he bought for 2 months and he sold it away and bought another big one. Because he had that much of balance. Same way, somebody who has certain karma to exhaust, that comes into this form, drops the body, takes up a new one. So the idea is that this is a fact. Even children dying at young age, they seek new environments because their vasanas are over. Now they have to get the new bodies. So the body one keeps dropping. So Bhagavan tells this very simple point that because the body is just a medium, don't compromise with your duty, thinking that these people will be alive if I don't fight the war. So anyway they will die. And don't think that they will cease to exist because you killed them. Their karma has brought them here. They were existing in the past, they will exist in the future also. And so do not compromise on karma. Do not compromise on the duty. So as long as the cause will remain, the vasana, intellect and mind, as long as that remains, reincarnation will keep happening. That's why Vedanta goes to the root cause. To stop reincarnation, the only way is understand that I am not the body, I am not the mind and intellect and vasana also. I am not the jiva. I am that which is absolute truth. So spiritually, if I understand how to reduce my vasanas and desires, so that I can really contemplate on who am I, that is the method to get out of this. So with a pure mind, when I inquire that am I really this body, am I this jiva, and do that self-inquiry, that contemplation on the absolute self will destroy my false vasanas, my desires. And such a person who comes to essentially know that I am the deathless, birthless, pure self, that person goes beyond birth and death. That's why Gurudev used to say this, that everybody dies, but no one dies. He would roar in his talk. Everybody dies, no one dies. And the people who are asleep will suddenly wake up. What happened? Everybody dies and no one dies. Then he will emphasize, every body dies. No one dies. That one absolute truth will never die. That is imperishable, and that is what you are. So from that standpoint of that one absolute truth, there is no reincarnation. From the standpoint of body also, many people think there is no reincarnation because they think only one life. Reincarnation is a fact. It is like a sunset. So when the sun has set in one part of the world, it rises in another part. Same way, the person who has dropped the body here takes another form appropriately. But from the standpoint of the sun, is there a sunrise, sunset? Nothing. Same way, from the standpoint of the self, there is no birth, there is no death, there is no reincarnation. Only from standpoint of the self. When you realize the deathless, absolute, pure self. So now coming to this, these are the benefits of knowing reincarnation in my personal life. Our objective is, this is Geeta in practice. Why should I know about this? You may say, "Arey, it is all theoretical concept, this is not applicable to me now." No, it is very deeply applicable. It influences the entire way of thinking. The very strength to follow morality comes to me from this knowledge. That I am responsible for my karma, nobody else. 1993, Bombay blast happened, no? Now it is what, 2013. 20 years after that, the karma is caught up now with Sanjay Dutt. Who will escape? Nobody can escape.
But Swamiji, I want to know one thing. See, we all know that people we love, when they die, they take another birth. But what we grieve is this present association. No?
That is what Bhagavan is saying, that present association is because of karma. If your karma is there, you will still associate with them again. And the grief is caused actually by that attachment to that present form.
Yeah.
That is what Bhagavan says, you drop that attachment. Because if you continue that attachment, you are only going to suffer. Because life's nature is change. Forget dying. In this very life, the people whom we love part now. We part ways so many times. So attachment is what causes sorrow. And that's why attachment has to be given up. Whether that person is there in this life or whether person is meeting me in the next life, that is secondary. Primary thing is drop that attachment. And for the sake of that attachment, don't compromise with karma. That is what is the point here. That Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra are compromised. No? Because of attachment, they have compromised with their own dharma, duty. And what comes with me is my dharma, my own mind. Imagine what kind of a mind Dhritarashtra went with. Here come having got a human birth. I can cultivate my mind, lift it and make it so pure and elevate it. Instead of that, I kept sinking, full of guilt, regret, worry, and that mind I am going to carry. In the next life also it will continue. So pain definitely is there, no doubt. One does not say that because of the fact of reincarnation there will not be any pain at the time of departure. I leave my people behind, there will be sorrow. But that is the very main point to understand that before I come to that state, let me learn to be detached. Let me love people, but let me learn to be detached and let me love that Lord more than anything else. Because that Lord is with me all the time. Relationships come and go, come and go. So what is the benefit of knowing reincarnation at personal level? One, I am no longer afraid of death because I know that I have lived before and I will live after. I don't cease to exist. Death is not a full stop. It is only one comma. Important one, but it is a comma. I don't lose anything because according to law of karma, I will be given whatever I have acquired through my effort. Those who say that you come empty hand, you go empty hand. We don't come empty hand, we don't go empty hand. Physically it may be so, but we come with a huge baggage of karma and we go with a bigger baggage of karma. Because we don't know how to act then. I always say that Bhagavan is very, very compassionate. He started the first packer and mover agency in the world. He packs up our entire baggage. You have to just happily go. Bye-bye. Bhagavan will unpack you for everything in the new environment. You don't have to do anything. And no cost. Muft mein. He is compassionate. That's how you see children born with rich families, child prodigies, everything. He packs up your mind, intellect, vasana straight. Along with the physical environment, whatever you deserve, you will get. That's why people are born in rich families, poor families, everything. So I don't have to become possessive. You see, a lot of pain at the time of death is why? Because I will lose my hard-earned money. If somebody is told that with all the people and everything that you have acquired, you can die, then there is no pain. Why? Because all this is coming with you. Pain is because all this I will leave. You will not leave anything. Physically it will be left here. Again it will be coming back to us. Third aspect, goodbyes don't exist forever. You may say that, but I don't remember my near and dear ones. If your karma is there, you will associate with them. In the same fashion. Because that is what you are carrying in the mind. You may not remember particular relationship, name, form, all that. But you will associate again in some other form to settle the karma. And anyway, Hindus believe. Definitely there is one relationship where they believe this. 7 lives we will live together. And every life they do that 7 lives. So, eternal companion. 7 lives will be together. So the point is that goodbyes don't exist forever. Yes, form and name we don't remember, that is God's compassion. Suppose we remember, then we had it. Suppose in this life I come to know all my wives of previous life and where they are right now. Imagine what will happen to us. And I suddenly discover that the enemy of my previous life is my wife this time to take revenge. Gone.
But I thought 7 lives you have to be together.
7 lives you have to be together. That is how we are together. No? She has come now in the form of the wife now. So the idea is that goodbyes don't exist forever. It increases my tolerance and empathy towards people's way of living because I may have been similar in my past, immediate past or in my past lives. Morality, ethics and values have a meaning only in the larger context. If it is one birth and I can get away with it, morality has no meaning. And the strange thing is, we know all this. Every day we see so many things which are happening for which we don't have an explanation in this life. And yet the human mind has that tendency which thinks, it's okay, I will get away with it. So much of corruption that happens, why does it happen? 2 reasons it happens. One reason is, one thinks that I am smart and intelligent, nothing will happen to me, I will get away with it. Nobody will find out also. Second, it happened because of a greed factor, tremendous greed. So because this happens, one just indulges in anything. So many people who have had such great lives have just fallen because of this, not understanding that karma will catch up and I can never get away with my karma. I have to pay for my karma. If I have done the karma, only I will have to pay. And the sad part is when it will come is the most difficult thing. When you are most prosperous, suddenly that bad karma of the past will come and hit. Then you had it. Then you regret, oh God, why did I do this? Not necessarily it will happen that way only, but I'm just saying that karma can catch up any time. So ideal it is to understand that morality, law of karma has the bigger context. Value structure changes totally. There is this famous psychiatrist, I don't know psychiatrist, but he's a doctor. He's called Dr. Raymond Moody. And in 1960s he made this film called Life After Life. And then he made another film called Light at the End of the Tunnel. And he wrote many books also. So there are these books of Raymond Moody available even today. So he did the research and he documented the cases of more than 3,000 people who have had near-death experience. They call it as NDE, near-death experience. Meaning those who went out of the body, who were clinically declared dead. Again they came back. And all of them revealed the same thing to him. That there is a tunnel and then you go through the tunnel and that going through the tunnel is the most difficult part and depends on how much you are attached. If you are detached, you go through the tunnel very quickly and there is a light at the end of the tunnel and there is a compassionate being, in his presence you feel so lovely, this, that, so many things they said. And they said that it is so wonderful to go out of the body and it is so painful to come back into the body. And some of them have had terminally ill diseases who have been suffering. And they said the moment we went out of the body, it was such a liberating experience. Unfortunately, some karma pushed us back into this. So you should read those, some of them. So what happens is, when these people come back, their entire value system changes. They start valuing those things like love, compassion, forgiveness more than any materialistic thing, more than any status, position, power, none of them. There is one lady in Hong Kong also who is like that. And there is one book she has written.
Anita Murjani, Time to Be Me.
Yeah, she wrote one book also. Went out and came back. So if you read all those, then suddenly we realize that how belief in reincarnation can actually change our value structure. It is not necessary that we have to have NDE only to change the value structure. You think about it, reincarnation is a fact. And what I really value, do I really value power or I value love, compassion, righteousness, the means that I adopt? For us many times this looks very theoretical. Yeah, okay, this is all said in the scripture, but real life is something else. That is real life. This is a myth. To compromise and to get away with it and all that thinking, that is the myth. Real life is that. The life based on values, the life based on love, the life based on compassion, forgiveness, that is the real life. So whole value structure will change. The focus shifts towards the inner evolution than the outer achievements. Atheists also turn into believers. That 3,000 cases of people which are there, many of them were atheists. They did not even believe in God. But they said that when we died and we were there in the presence of that most compassionate, loving reality, we transformed. If I have a child, I will give him the chance to develop his talents and freedom to live his life. Because he is an individual soul which has come into this world through me to exhaust its own karma. Why will I impose my ideas and ideologies on him or her? I will forgive people and not hold grudge against them. Because holding that grudge, meaning I am retaining that negative karma. I forgive, let go. Everybody acts in different influences. And the last one is, so the question why me becomes totally irrelevant. Because of why me has no, if something is happening to me, it is only because of some karma. Nothing I get is undeserved. And nothing that I do not deserve will ever come to me, how much ever I try. So I have to become deserving for it. So if something has come to me, it is because something I would have done. Now I don't need to know what is that cause. If I understand this law of karma works properly, then I trust that wisdom and I leave it. And Bhagavan does that account keeping for us. We don't have to keep the account of karma. He keeps the account of karma, He keeps giving according to that whatever has to come. And lastly, everything in life has a purpose and a meaning. There is nothing which happens by accident, nothing which happens by coincidence, nothing which happens by chance. It happens because there is a reason. And I can know the reason also if I want to. But that requires a different type of training and mystical type of meditation and all that, which is not necessary to know. This much understanding I have that this, whatever has happened in life has a purpose. Can I take 5 more minutes? Then I will tell you this reincarnation topic is over. That what is the impact of reincarnation on society? See, we develop a sense of belonging together and competitiveness will reduce. Because we value love, etc. more than power. There will be equal rights and discrimination will be a thing of the past. Because today you are in this form. Tomorrow you will be in which form you don't know. So you cannot discriminate. Gender bias will also go, racial discrimination will go, all that will go. Because you are in where you are because of karma only. There is no higher and there is no lower in that. We will help each other willingly and especially at the national level. Just like karma works at individual level, karma also works at collective level. Collectively, certain people, certain nations do certain things, then they deserve a certain karma phala. Karma works same way, individually and society and nation and the world level also. Simplest thing is keeping the planet clean and healthy will become obvious because we only have to return. So you can't keep it dirty and get away with it. You have to come back here. Spirituality, psychology and science will come together and this is already happening. A lot of healing is happening because many of these diseases are psychosomatic and many of them have cause in the past lives. So science, psychology and spirituality will come together. Medical profession will have to do a lot of thinking since birth deformities are not just related to genetics or virus or prenatal care. They have already started thinking about it. But there is a factor called karma. It will also play a large part in surgery because many things you don't need to do operation. The whole thing will change because it is quite a few things are in the mind. Art will gain a tremendous momentum. You will see that many societies earlier which have believed in reincarnation have actually drawn so many things depicting that. How the soul is, what is the journey at the end of the tunnel, what is the tunnel, what are these angels and all that. They have depicted in the form of art. It will contribute to making the world more beautiful, loving, in which it is a blessing to learn, to live and to love. Now this is the acceptance of reincarnation across the different cultures. Christ said John the Baptist was Elijah, meaning the person who was John the Baptist, who baptized Christ. Christ said he was Elijah in his former lives. Christianity believes in reincarnation in a very strong way, in the sense that Christ spoke about it, and there are enough references in Bible for it. But today's Christianity doesn't.
They have modified it.
They are not propagating that. See, very strange it is. They don't believe in reincarnation today, but they believe that soul exists after death. Because they say the judgment day is there, and you are eternally damned sinner, and you will be given result according to that. So that means life is there after death.
Yeah.
Reincarnation, they are not professing that. Other philosopher, he said, every man received a body for himself according to his deserts in former lives. Again, somebody from the East, Middle East. Solomon's Book of Wisdom, again it says, to be born in a sound body with limbs is a reward of the virtues of past lives. Buddha made constant references to his previous birth. He is called as Bodhisattva, who has evolved and finally become Buddha. Rumi, Sufi mystic, he said this, that I died out of a stone, I became a plant. I died out of a plant and became an animal. I died of an animal, became a man. Why then should I fear to die? When I die, I don't grow less by dying. I shall die out of a man and become an angel. Very nicely he said that. All these German philosophers and all these people, and today's Dr. Brian Weiss, Wayne Dyer, all these people will talk about it. So reincarnation as a fact is accepted across all cultures. Jainism talks enough about reincarnation. Concept of Kaivalya also is there in that, and that whole concept of Tirthankar which they have, that over a period of time that individual has purified one's soul and finally become the Tirthankar. Every culture speaks about reincarnation. It is a fact. And so in the Gita, that's what Bhagavan has indicated to Arjuna, that these are the people. It is not that these people have not existed in the past and they will cease to exist in the future. So Arjuna, know this fact very clearly, that reincarnation is a very clear principle based on law of karma. And so if you think that by not fighting you will avoid, that is not possible. The karmic account which have to be settled will have to be settled. So tomorrow we will see about the aspect of karma yoga that Bhagavan speaks about in the second chapter. Not karma yoga, sorry, immortality of the soul. And then we come to karma yoga on the third day.
Swamiji, this reincarnation theory can also be called as the law of karma?
No. Law of karma is the basis of reincarnation theory. Law of karma is much more bigger than reincarnation. Because law of karma covers so many other things. Sanchit karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma, all that. Then nitya karma, naimitya karma, so many things. So the bigger picture is law of karma. One implication of law of karma is reincarnation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om.